So my life was changed when I ran across Marshall Rosenberg and his book on nonviolent communication. And at my church, we did a class on how to do it. So we don't communicate nonviolently. In America, really, we do attack, and people have to defend, and it's very push, 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 both directions. And I was just wondering if you were familiar with his work and if that's the kind of thing that could be brought even into elementary schools or, you know, junior highs or something. It's just that valuable. Marshall Rosenberg, your comments.
Yeah, I mean, I know the work. He was one of the folks who brought communication into the field. How do we do it? Let me go back to generations again. I have often thought that one of the most practical and impactful things that the field has done is seemingly not very sexy. It's not international conflict resolution. It's actually the introduction in the mid-'80s and so forth, the introduction of peer mediation into schools, and the later introduction of anti-bullying stuff into school, which got set back terribly by social media and the ability of bullies to be anonymous. It just set anti-bullying stuff back decades with devastating results. But some of the first graduates of our program in Fairfax County were teachers who went back to the schools and said, we can do this starting in kindergarten. Starting in high school, it's too late. Starting in junior high, it's not heard very well. But if you start in K through 6 or K through 5, and you really teach problem solving, and you teach peer facilitation, you can really make a difference. One of the tragedies, and I think it has made a difference. I think the bullying stuff, as I said, was set back by social media. One of the tragedies is that, among other things, that got pushed out of school by the movement to just have standardized tests and force teachers to have their curriculum dominated by teaching kids to pass tests. Art got pushed out, music got pushed out, right? Even civics in the old-fashioned sense got pushed out. And all of the peripheral stuff, like having time during the day to teach kindergartners, second, third, fourth graders how to be mediators, got pushed out. But I think, again, very unsexy, bringing peer mediation to schools and using that to address violence. And, you know, and it has addressed violence. I'm not sure it's addressed the violence of the lone gunner with the AR-15, but it's addressed violence in schools and in classrooms where violence was endemic and where disagreements escalated to violence very, very quickly. We have a lot of evidence that peer mediation addressed that.
If I could offer from the moderator's role, I would note as well, if we think of Maura Dugan's nested model of conflict, and that at various levels, conflict interacts from the interpersonal to the group, to the organizational, to the international. I think there's a lot to consider in terms of the value of being nonviolent or seeking to not to do violence with our words. And that grows into and informs our actions very well as well. Certainly here at KSU, we have emphases within our master's program and our doctoral program, as well as undergraduate minor and certificate, on the practical skills of communication and conflict interaction, as well as the theories as well as the theories too. You might think of Paulo Freire's idea of praxis, theory-informed practice. How do we bring that to bear? And so I would certainly commend Rosenberg's work, among others, to think about, in our personal lives, what does it look like to engage conflict constructively? What are the words, attitudes, behaviors that try to realize peace at that level and at the other levels at which we work? Thank you for your question. We have another question.
Can I just want to add,
please, I'm so sorry, Carla.
That's okay. One concrete example, I really appreciate the reference to the framework, because it manifests itself in a lot of the training that we do. So we do conflict management training for peacekeepers. And really it's the people who go into lower temperatures in war zones and how can they have the skills to basically mediate on the fly. And what's been interesting in the training that we've done is when you do the evaluations of it afterwards, they say, you know, not only do I use this as a peacekeeper, I use it in my own household. The way to modulate around these conversations, how to interact with my partner, my children. And it's wonderful to see how these fundamental skills can deploy in a variety of different settings. And that's all from this analytic framework, this academic framework that's been laid out.
Thank you very much.